My 20s are over, and honestly, they were completely fucking nuts. And I'm going to share with you some of the most impactful lessons that I learned over the past decade.
And if you put them into practice, I guarantee you'll have a more fulfilling life. Number 1.
Make your judgment based on the message, not the messenger. So many people on this planet don't actually listen to the message being said because they're so blinded by the person saying it. For example, in America, I know that a lot of you are divided by left and right-wing politics. But let's imagine you're left and you see someone wearing a Donald Trump "Let's Make America Great Again" hat. No matter what they tell you, they could tell you if you go and jump in a pit of fire, you will die. You won't listen to them. You'll ignore it and think it's perfectly fine to jump into a pit of fire. When if you actually think about that message, it's a pretty solid one. I think we can all agree, don't jump in fire. If you don't know that, please listen to me. Don't jump in fire. It burns. So just remember, think about what someone is saying before you make a snap judgment on it just because you don't like them.
Number 2.
Get out of toxic relationships fast. If you take a look at your friends or your girlfriend or your boyfriend and you actually think, is this relationship good for me? And you find yourself thinking, wait, every time I go out with that guy, I end up waking up naked in a bush or getting into a fight and that girl's driving me crazy 24/7, then genuinely the best way to see if you should continue with that relationship, and this might seem a bit clinical, analytical or robotic, but it's to just straight up write a list of pros and cons for them. And if the cons outweigh the pros, then fuck them off because it's not worth wasting your time around people you don't need to be around. Obviously you can't do this with family as you're stuck with them forever. Luckily I was blessed with a good one, but you literally can do this for your friends or your partner. So choose them wisely. I know I wish I'd gotten out of some dark relationships a lot faster than I did. And if I had done that, taken a step back, I would have been able to see them for what they were and not wasted so much time.
Number 3. Do something today that will benefit you tomorrow.
You don't want to be chasing instant gratification. Let's say you have two options. Drink that beer, take those drugs, forget about all your problems. But guess what? You'll wake up tomorrow and future you is going to feel shame, anxiety, and if you're anything like me, probably a little bit embarrassed because you decided to try and chat up the landlord's wife and got a whack in the face. And then you've got option B. You work on yourself, you learn something new, you start that script you've always wanted to write. You get yourself to the gym because you've always wanted to be healthier, or in the case of me, you start a YouTube channel. And yeah, these things are harder to do, but tomorrow you will say thank you. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you did that. You improved my life. And you'll have a feeling of achievement and you'll be proud of yourself and all that nice shit. There's a great stoic quote and it goes, hard choices equals an easy life. Easy choices equals a hard life. And it sort of makes no sense, but let me explain. This basically means if you take the easy choices, you'll wake up at 30 and be like, oh shit, I can't even afford to buy a packet of Haribo and my family hates me. This is hard. And if you take the hard choices, you'll wake up at 30 and be like, alright, this is going pretty well. This is pretty cool. I love my job and check out my muscles. I'm pretty fucking shredded.
Number 4.
Don't blow your money on shit. As the old saying goes, money doesn't buy you happiness. And it's completely true, but you do need money to live. So instead of blowing your entire wages at the weekend on a new pair of Air Jordans, they still think, do people still like those shoes or am I just out of touch as fuck? Put some of your money into a savings account for the future. I know it sounds boring, but trust me, you'll be happy about it, I'm telling you. But do realise you only need enough money for food, shelter, and enough to enjoy your free time. So unless your free time involves, I don't know, what costs a load of money, everything after that is just a bonus. So don't worry about having a Lamborghini or a golden cat that dances every time your dog barks at it, because it really won't make you any happier. And trust me, this is true. This isn't your standard money won't make you happy coming from some fucking billionaire in a golden aeroplane. I only have enough money to live and it's fine. Do I want more? Of course I do. But do I need more? No. I don't know why I was just making everything golden, just money equals gold in my head. Am I right? Money, gold, they go together. They definitely do.
Number 5.
You're never too old to start doing something new. Don't worry about finding yourself and finding out exactly what you need to do in your 20s. It can take a lifetime. There is so much pressure these days to be successful young. You see it everywhere. Take Mark Zuckerberg. He created Facebook at 19. Trust me, that is not realistic. He was an exception. Most people don't have a clue what they're doing with their lives at that age. I'm still figuring it out now. All I know is career-wise, I want to do YouTube. And figuring that out in my late 20s is not too late at all. In fact, it's quite early. A lot of people won't start figuring stuff out until they're in their 40s or even later. And you should always be striving to try and find out what you enjoy, because that will lead to a job that will make you happy, which will therefore make you happy. You don't want to be working in a job solely for money and status if it makes you miserable. My ex-girlfriend's mum did a course when she was like 55 and she's completely fine with it. Another example, I like to Google actors a lot. I don't know why, I'm weird. And if you look at how many of them got into it late, it's crazy. So don't worry if you don't enjoy what you're doing at the moment, you can always find something new. You've got plenty of time barring illnesses and things like that, and if you are in that position, I'm incredibly sorry, but I'm sure starting something new is the last thing on your mind. But it also doesn't mean just sitting around doing fuck all, not thinking about it. Like I said, you have to actively strive to find what you enjoy. Just don't worry if you haven't figured it out yet.
Number 6.
Don't destroy your body staring at a screen. Whether we're at work or seeking pleasure, we spend so much of our time hunched over staring at a screen. Personally, I spent a long time doing this in my 20s, and still to this day I have to do it a lot for work, but I make a huge effort to counteract it with stretches and exercises. It's so important to be flexible and mobile. It's one of the most important things you can do in this day and age. I'd like you to meet Emma. She's got bloodshot eyes, a hairy nose and ears, hunchback, eczema, pale skin, a rotund stomach, swollen limbs and varicose veins. This is the future of staring all day at a screen, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to turn out like Emma. And maybe you've already got a few of these things. I know I do. Hairy nose, hunchback, rotund stomach, but it's all reversible. I'm going to leave a link in the description of the stretches and exercises you can do to reverse it. And also, you've got to make sure you get out of your house as often as possible. Because when you're in your 20s, you think, oh, I'm so young, my body can take anything. I don't need to exercise. It doesn't matter what I eat. It doesn't matter what shit I put in my body. And it's just not true. The healthier you are at 20, the healthier you are at 30, the healthier you are at 40, so on and so on. And not just in the sense of being healthy physically, you're healthy mentally as well. The two are both intertwined. And the younger you start, the better chance you're giving yourself of feeling good when you're older. And the better you feel, the better your life will be across all areas.
Number 7.
Everyone has a monster inside of them. You've got to assume on this planet that everyone has some kind of a monster inside of them. Whether it be external factors such as family and friends, or internal factors such as anxiety or depression. So when you're comparing yourself to Mr. or Mrs. X, who was born rich and their daddy gave them £1 million to start up a business, they could never fail because daddy will just keep on pumping more and more money into it. And they seem to be able to do whatever they want, and they seem to be rubbing life 24/7. That person will have a monster inside of them, just like you and me. And they will have to deal with that monster. So don't be resentful of people that seem to be in a better position than you. Because yeah, maybe they do seem happy on the outside, and maybe their problems aren't as big as yours. But everything's relative, and they will still have their own monster affecting them, and you should treat them as such, with love, compassion, and kindness. A perfect example of this is Robin Williams. On the outside, I mean, well, does he even need an introduction? Yet he was depressed and chose to end his own life. I spent a lot of time in my 20s being envious of people and wishing I had their easy life that was handed to me on a plate, but all isn't as it seems. I mean, I'm sure people have looked at me and wished they'd had my life. There's a great quote that says, your reality is somebody else's dream. And when you think about it like that, it all makes sense. A blind person will want my life, and there is seriously someone who would rather have a blind person's life than their own. So don't be resentful because everybody has a monster inside of them, and treat them as such, except for maybe people like Vladimir Putin. I think that guy is just a genuine psychopath, and treat him however you fucking want. Right, I hope I've given you something to think about. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you wish you knew now that you didn't know a decade ago, or if you're going to take up anything I just said. Also, if you enjoyed this video, maybe watch this one next. I go crazy for 3 days, I don't know what time it is, or then maybe this one, which is why TikTok is melting your brain.